The airport was alive with excitement. Families hugged each other goodbye, children pulled colorful suitcases across the polished floor and the departure boards. Flash destinations people had dreamed about for years. For me, this trip wasn't just a holiday. It was supposed to be proof that my family and I had finally become close again. For years, I had been the responsible one. While my younger brother chased one failed business idea after another, I worked overtime, saved every penny, and quietly helped. My parents, whenever they needed money, I never expected praise. I only wanted to feel like I belonged. When my father suggested that all of us should take a family vacation to Italy, I was genuinely excited. It would be our first holiday together in almost 10 years. Although my parents booked everyone's tickets together, I transferred my share of the money immediately. I even paid extra to help cover my parents' hotel because my father claimed he was short on cash. "You're the only one we can count on," he had told me. Those words meant everything to me. I believed they finally appreciated me. Looking back now, I wish I had seen the truth much sooner. The airline check-in line moved quickly. When it was finally my turn, I smiled at the employee behind the counter. "Good morning." She smiled politely. "Passport and boarding pass, please." I handed them over. She typed on her keyboard for nearly a minute. Then her expression suddenly changed. She looked at the screen again, then at me, then back at the screen. "I'm sorry, sir." My stomach tightened. "Is something wrong? There appears to be an issue with your reservation." "What kind of issue?" She hesitated. "It says your ticket was cancelled yesterday evening." I laughed nervously. "That can't be right. I'm afraid that's what our system shows. There must be some mistake." She shook her head gently. "The cancellation request came from the booking owner." I froze. "The booking owner?" "Yes. My father booked all our tickets together." She nodded. "Then the cancellation was authorized through his account." For a few seconds I couldn't even breathe. Surely Dad would never cancel my ticket. Not without telling me. I quickly pulled out my phone. First call. "Dad?" No answer. Second call. Voicemail. Third call. Still nothing. I called my mother. Ignored. Then my brother. No answer. Finally my sister. Straight to voicemail. My heartbeat became faster with every second. Something wasn't right. I rushed toward the security entrance. Then I saw them. My parents, my brother, my sister, all standing together in line. They were laughing, taking family photos, talking as if nothing had happened. I waved both hands. "Dad?" No response. "Dad?" This time my father looked directly at me. Our eyes met. He definitely saw me. But instead of coming over, he turned away. My chest tightened. I shouted louder. "Mom!" She glanced in my direction for only a second. Then she looked back at my father. Neither of them moved. I tried to run closer. A security officer stopped me. "Sir, you need a valid boarding pass. My family is right there." "I'm sorry. They cancelled my ticket." "I understand, but I can't let you pass." I watched helplessly as my family walked toward the departure gate. Not one of them looked back. Not once. Within moments, they disappeared, leaving me standing completely alone. About 15 minutes later, my phone finally rang. "Dad?" I answered immediately. "Dad, what happened?" "The airline says my ticket was cancelled." His voice was calm. "We know." Those two words hit me harder than anything else. "What do you mean, you know?" "We cancelled it." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You cancelled my ticket?" "Yes." "But why?" There was a long silence. Finally he answered. "Your brother wanted to bring his girlfriend." I blinked. "What?" "There weren't enough seats in the original booking. So, we decided to cancel yours." I felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath me. "I paid for my own ticket." "I know." "I even helped pay for your hotel." "I know." "Then why me?" His answer broke something inside me. "Because you're independent," I whispered. "So, I'm being punished for taking care of myself." "No." "Then explain it." "Your brother needs us more." I laughed bitterly. "For 30 years I've been helping this family. I've paid your bills. I've fixed your problems. I've never asked for anything. And the one time I wanted to travel with you, you replaced me." He remained silent. Then he quietly said, "It was a family decision." "No, it was your decision," without another word. He ended the call. I slowly walked out of the airport carrying a suitcase that would never leave the country. Rain had started falling outside. Couples hugged goodbye. Families smiled for photos. Children laughed as planes flew overhead. Everything looked normal, except my world had completely fallen apart. When I reached my apartment, I placed the suitcase beside the door and sat on the couch without turning on the lights. Hours passed. No calls, no apology, no explanation. Late that evening, my phone buzzed. A notification from the family group chat. My brother had uploaded several pictures. All of them were smiling, standing together at the boarding gate. The caption read, "Best family vacation ever, Italy, here we come." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then, without saying a word, I left the family group. Not one person noticed, not one person asked where I had gone. That was the moment I finally understood something painful. Sometimes the people you love the most are the people willing to leave you behind without looking back. That night, I made a promise to myself. I would stop begging for a place in a family that had already decided I didn't belong. The next morning, I woke up feeling strangely calm. For the first time in years, I stopped expecting my family to choose me. Instead of sitting at home feeling sorry for myself, I opened my laptop and booked a solo trip to Iceland for the following week. If I couldn't make memories with my family, I would make them on my own. A week later, I stood beneath the breathtaking northern lights. The cold air filled my lungs as green waves danced across the sky. No arguments, no disappointment, no feeling of being unwanted, just peace. For the first time in my adult life, I realized happiness didn't have to depend on other people. Sometimes the greatest freedom comes from letting go. Meanwhile, my family's dream holiday wasn't going as planned. A few days into their trip, my father called. I ignored it. Then my mother called. I ignored that too. Soon messages began appearing. "Please call us. It's urgent. We need your help." I finally replied with one sentence. "What's wrong?" My father's answer came immediately. "Your brother lost his wallet. All of our cash and credit cards were inside. Our bank has frozen the remaining accounts because of suspicious activity. Can you send us $5,000 immediately?" I stared at the screen. £5,000? The same people who had cancelled my ticket without a second thought were now asking me to rescue their holiday. A few minutes later, my phone rang again. This time I answered. My father sounded desperate. "Son, we really need your help." I stayed silent. He continued. "We'll pay you back." I finally spoke. "Just like you paid me back for my ticket." Silence. "It wasn't supposed to happen like that," he whispered. "It happened exactly the way you wanted." My mother took the phone. "We made a mistake." "A mistake? You cancelled my ticket. You watched me standing alone. You boarded the plane without me. None of you even looked back." She started crying. "We're sorry." For years I had waited to hear those words, but somehow they no longer meant anything. Then my brother grabbed the phone. "Stop being dramatic. We're family. Families help each other." I almost laughed. "Really? Where was that family when my ticket was cancelled?" He became angry. "You've always been selfish." Those words made my decision incredibly easy. "I think you've confused selfishness with self-respect." Then I ended the call. Over the next several days, they kept calling. I didn't answer. Eventually, they managed to solve their own problems, just as my father had once told me. They were independent. 3 weeks later, they returned home. My parents came to my apartment without warning. When I opened the door, they looked exhausted. Older. Quieter. There was no anger left, only regret. My father spoke first. "I owe you an apology." "You do?" "I failed you." "You did." "I always expected you to understand, because you were responsible." I nodded. "I know, but responsibility isn't permission to treat someone like they don't matter." He lowered his head. "I understand that now." My mother wiped away tears. "We kept wondering why you stopped answering our calls." I looked at both of them, because I finally realized something. You only remembered I was family when you needed something. Neither of them could argue, because it was true. Several months passed. Slowly, my parents began trying to rebuild our relationship. Not with money, not with excuses, with actions. They visited without asking for favors. They apologized more than once. They finally admitted they had spent years protecting my younger brother, while expecting me to carry everyone else's burdens. As for my brother, he never apologized. He insisted I had overreacted. That told me everything I needed to know. Some people grow, others simply get older. A year later, I finally traveled to Italy. This time, I went alone. I walked through the streets of Rome, watched the sunset over Venice, and enjoyed every moment without worrying about anyone else's expectations. Standing in front of the Colosseum, I smiled, not because my family had changed, but because I had. The greatest journey I ever took wasn't across countries. It was away from the people who made me believe I had to earn their love. Sometimes the people who leave you behind give you the greatest gift of all, the chance to discover your own worth,